Yo, 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 everybody. This is your host, Dave, and you're now tuning into The Scoop. All right. What's up, everybody? You're back at The Scoop, and we're here with my two bosses, so let me not say anything too dumb and get fired. No, these are my two boys, and the two most successful guys I know in the sports nutrition industry, from the bottom to the top, made it all the way there, and I got this song for them, so I'm going to play it. Wait. Text me later, girl. Hold on, let me. It's coming. Yes, the big money.
Is this the Shane O'Mac?
No, this is a Vince McMahon.
Oh, Vince McMahon, yeah.
You guys aren't Shane O'Mac rich. You guys are Vince McMahon rich. So here are my two boys, C-Mac, Chris McKenzie, and Whitney Reed.
We're actually the inventors of the Scoop.
Yeah, I know that.
Yeah.
Hey,
I saw the original.
Yeah.
I saw on the internet that you have a demo scheduled at Eva's still.
Me and Chris go way back to our original company.
They haven't updated that page yet.
Yeah. Me and Chris go back to an original company. We never got to meet each other. For some reason, I never made it up to Jersey.
So
I wonder how things would have played out.
Hold on, let's rewind, because I don't think anybody's listening, but if they are, they don't know the story. So, like, you worked for the original owner of BPI in a previous for a previous company that he owned.
Yes.
Chris did demos for that previous company.
Yeah.
And then you guys didn't meet until that company was gone, and then BPI started, correct?
Pretty much.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, Abe flaked out at the end of that, or they flaked on Abe, or
No, the
end of that was just crazy.
The
anyway.
company closed, and I didn't know what was like happening. Everything was like kind of like up in the air, and I made a move.
So I moved here and worked full time with BPI in 2010. So it was October 2010. I came down here, and I've told that story a couple times, living with the guy that started the business and stuff. But then once we could afford enough money to buy another desk, he said, "Chris, put this desk together because this kid Abe's going to come back and work with us." And Abe was selling restaurant supplies.
Yeah.
And I'm going to think, in typical Derek fashion, you didn't even know that you probably had this job offer that Chris was building the desk for. Derek was just going to make you work
assumed
here.
you were coming
He was
back,
just
yeah.
going to make you work here.
I mean, we came back into an operation. It was me and Chris. I was like in the kitchen. Chris was like in another room with like 4 cats. And then it was Gus and Sylvia in the back, and an Italian guy in the gym that we supposedly had. It was just like 2 cardio machines. It's like a hotel gym. And that Italian guy was Vince. And one time we couldn't go home.
Hold on. Vince, the Italian guy?
Yeah, Vince,
Okay.
Vince here, right here, Vince.
Vinny. Vinner?
Vinny?
We couldn't go home one time on like a holiday because me and Chris had to build his desk.
You had to put his desk together.
That's
Oh
awesome.
my God.
That's awesome. Well, fast forward 3 years from that point, and that's when I first moved down here.
Yeah.
And actually, the first time you might not remember it, but the first thing you ever said to me, because we didn't talk. I worked here for I don't know how many months out in the field, but me and you didn't have really any communication at all. And then I came down here for my first office visit, which was I think 3 or 4 months after starting working for the company. And I was at the airport, and you pulled up in your Jeep.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, yeah.
And you pulled up, and from inside of the
Not
car.
a Wrangler Jeep.
No.
No. Compass.
Compass. And when you pulled up, you said, "Damn, you're a lot taller than I thought." That was the first thing you ever said to me. I remember that like it was yesterday.
Oh yeah, I remember one time Chris was like, "Hey, you gotta share a room with Whitney," and I was like, "Dude, my girl kill me if I share a room with another girl. Like that's a wrap." And then he's like, "No, dude, Whitney's a super cool guy," and I'm here like, "Nobody's fucking cooler than me." And then I meet Whitney, and I'm like, "This guy's taller. He's better looking. He's actually dating famous people, and he's all over magazines." I'm like, "This guy is cooler than me." I'm like. I'm pretty much fired after this, so like let's pack it in. But then we hung out. Oh, what was the first show we did?
So the
Arnold?
first show we did together was the Olympia 2000. I guess was that 13?
I don't know how you guys remember any of the shows. I honestly can't remember one from the
Well,
other.
I remember because the first show I worked with BPI was the Olympia.
Okay,
because
so
I
that was
started in March of that year. and then it was right after the Arnold. You might not remember, or maybe you do, but I bumped into you because at the time I was
At the airport, yeah.
At the airport, and I was working with a different company, and Chris made fun of me because my spray tan was orange. And I came over and was messing around with you and Kevin at the BPI booth, and then it was a couple months later, I guess, is when I started working. Yeah.
Well, aside from that, actually talking about the shows, one of the things I did want to bring up, because I remember when those shows were.
So wait, what's our theme here? Just nostalgia about Abe? Is that what this podcast is?
No, this is more about you guys than me.
This is just history.
Nobody wants to hear about
This
my
is
life.
history in the making that's been made already.
Nobody wants to hear about my average life. I mean, this podcast would be called Duh if that was it, and there'd be 2 episodes. Boom, that's it. Done. It's a wrap. No, so pretty much today's topic would be, actually, it was good that we're talking about the shows, because I know you said you don't remember any of this, but going back to the shows, I just remember, like, when I first got into the shows, I was such a fanboy. I was like, damn, I can't wait to see all the products. And, you know, like if it was Halloween, I'm going to trick or treat. I'm going to go around, grab samples, try everything out, see what it's about. So that was like a topic I wanted to bring up. I know a lot of the new guys aren't going to be able to dabble into this, but what was like the first product you guys tried or that you saw that you were like, I got to save up some money to buy this? Like,
Well, Chris has a great story for this. I'll let him start. He always tells the same story.
Which story?
Your first supplement story.
Oh, man. I don't know. I have too many stories, but
Go
I
back to
do
the
know
very
that
beginning.
the Cybergenics box in like the late 80s.
Does
was
anybody else remember that?
That came with a VHS.
Yeah, that was
Of
the shit
course,
that I wanted.
remember
And
that.
it was like $150.
Yeah, it was so much money, and I
Yeah.
wanted one, so I could never ask my parents.
It's like an aluminum tin. I remember
Yeah.
that.
That was a big thing. And then, what else? I don't know.
Cybergenics was huge.
Well, I
but
remember
then,
the revamp to it,
Yeah.
obviously. You guys had the
Yeah.
original. I
Right.
remember the revamp
So-
that popped up
But
at
that's
GNC.
too old. Cybergenics was like late 80s, so
Yeah.
that's really old.
Yeah.
So I was born in 1980, so I remember a lot of that stuff at the end of the 80s because my brother is 4 years older and he was into, starting to work out, and I kind of saw some of that stuff, but I didn't know much about it. But then fast forward, I think I was probably 15, and it was the first time I'd heard about creatine, and it was just straight creatine monohydrate, and then shortly after is when Phosphagen, I guess, became big, and then the rest is history, right?
I remember all that creatine, every single bottle. Mixed with apple juice or grape juice.
Grape
I was
juice,
like,
yeah.
oh, Lord. I don't
10
like
grams
either.
a day for a week, 5 grams a day for 4 weeks.
But it came,
And it worked.
yeah, it always did. I remember the first product. I remember my brother came home with this like honeycomb holographic looking bottle, and it was Eno Explode, and I was like, I'm just gonna take a scoop out of that.
Dude,
I was so gassy on the way to the gym, and when it kicked in, I was like, just skyrocketing
I
through
didn't
the
know that
roof.
Eno Explode was carbonated the first time I got
Yeah.
it, right? And I was like driving to the gym in my van, and it was still like new. Like pre-workouts weren't really that big a deal. Man, I made such a freaking mess
You shake your shaker cup.
in my van.
No, that thing was super carbonated. You could be able to take 3 scoops. I remember it said on the instructions, and I was like, I don't think I can handle that. I'm gonna go ahead and do 1. Dude, I remember being on the bench. I was killing it, and by the 3rd rep, I'm like, yeah, something bad's happening. How did I call my brother? Like, dude, I got something to tell you. Like, if I got
wrong?
drunk at a party or something, like, I took some of your pre-workout. I need you to come get me. I could see colors, dots everywhere. But that I think then, obviously, the restriction and rules on products now are totally different. But dude, I used to kick a lot of ass with ABB drinks as well too. I think the RTDs were just through the roof at
those
the
are
time.
great, yeah.
And there's a multiple variety.
Amino Fuel.
Speed Stack.
Yeah, the Amino Fuel RTD was my shit. I used to
Amino
drink
Fuel
that. The
was
grape
good.
one, and it was like
Yep,
super tart. It was 16 ounces of fluid.
yep. So you had Speed Stack, you had Turbo T.
Rip Stack?
It was Rip something, yeah.
Rip
But then there were
something.
some weird ones. Like there was the blue one that was a creatine drink that
Yeah.
had like an eagle on it.
Yep.
Oh, that was Blue
Blue
Thunder.
Steel, Blue Thunder.
Blue Thunder.
Thunder.
And it was a protein like
It was
multivitamin.
chalky. Remember, it was
Dude.
chalky as hell.
Yeah. But I remember I used to take a Carbo Force, which was grape. That thing had like 100 grams of carbs.
Yeah.
And I'd take like a Ripped Force or a Rip Stack, whichever. I forget what it's called. Sorry to the people at ABB, but I used to take
They're
that.
not there anymore,
And
no
I
way.
used to, oh, all right. Well, my apologies for that too. I used to take that and whoop a ton of ass in the gym. I thought I was the biggest badass when I would drink that stuff.
Yeah, I used to get like these Ma Huang capsules at GNC.
Oh,
They're like
yeah.
99
Yeah.
cents for like
Yep.
4 of them.
Yep.
Yep.
And then like I would drink that. I would eat them and drink a like the amino fuel. And I would go and bench 315 for like a deuce and feel like the man. And then I go home and not sleep till like 4 in the morning, and then wake up and do it all again the next day.
Oh, wasn't that bad? I mean, wait, you had anything like that you would take? That was your go-to?
I obviously creatine, that was a big go-to. We talked about it earlier, the combination of, I won't mention,
the
the
protein creatine mixtures.
creatine mixture, and you make mix the grape with the vanilla. That was a good combo.
Yeah.
People were gaining 10 pounds in a week.
10, yeah.
What was the brand that was a Metrics knockoff?
Champion?
No, Myoform or something.
Well, you had
Oh, yeah.
you know,
Not Myoplex. No, there was this whole brand. They had this bar that was like just a piece of like plastic.
I don't remember that.
Well,
Sorry.
I'm trying to remember. You don't gotta be sorry. You don't gotta be sorry. We're on officially. We not just
Yeah,
YouTube.
but it was still no F word was the rules.
Oh, that's fine. We're on Spotify.
We
We're
have
on
the,
iTunes.
We have the warning label.
We're
It's
on
okay.
Intunes. Intunes. We're on Intunes. So if you got an Alexa,
Are we on TikTok? That's the
I
question.
don't even got a cleaning lady. I'm not gonna have an Alexa either. Alexa can control your Roombot, all that stuff.
Yeah.
I don't got that, but I'm glad we're on Intunes. So shout out to them as
Yeah,
well.
we're our ratings right. It's like Ryan Russello, then the Scoop is right below it.
Well, either way, here we can say whatever we want. It's all good. Let her fly.
All right,
But
so-
I don't remember that bar. The only bar that I remember, I mean, dude, Trialplex was around at that time, and they were like,
That was like before trial.
Yeah, this
Hard
was
as
a-
hell.
And Ripped
like-
Fuel had a bar. Twin Lab made a Ripped Fuel
Ugh,
bar that was
God.
like cardboardy, but there's a little bit of chocolate taste to it. So like,
I used to eat the pure protein, the blueberry one.
The blueberry and the raspberry.
Oh
yeah.
God, I used to just sit in your mouth. I'm like, how come this thing's not dissolving? I'm like, what's happening here?
Those Trioplex bars were good though until they got a little old and they had a layer of mold on top of them.
then there was
But that, you know what's so funny? I feel like supplements today, obviously because rules and restrictions, the supplements, we have to work much harder to make them just as powerful. And then the bars, which were like, nobody cared. It was like, hey, you want a protein bar? Yeah, you gotta eat crap.
Yeah.
Pretty much like it's gonna
It was
taste crappy.
expected to taste
Now
bad.
they're all delicious. Everybody's doing all this baking. Everybody's a Bobby Flay in the sports nutrition. You know what I mean? Like you got all these bars that are multiple flavors, and I mean,
I don't even like bars anymore, man. I mean, I remember I used to eat the Metrics bar and a Power bar,
The big
and I thought
cookie
I was
one.
like cutting
Oreo
edge
one.
diet.
Yeah. The big 100.
the big 100.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think anybody that eats bars now is really expecting that same level of like expecting that same level of quality. Not that you were getting it then. You just
No.
thought you had it. You were like,
No.
oh, this shit is
Look,
dialed in, bro.
when the Detour bar launched, that was the first really good tasting bar. Was the Detour bar, in my opinion.
I agree. I
And
love the
when that-
Detour bar.
When that launched, it was back, I can't remember the year, 2002 or somewhere around there, 3, whatever it was. And it was, I had my gym at the time, and I was I was ordering from Europa Sports, and they're like, "Oh, you got to buy these new Detour bars or whatever." And I tried it, and I thought it was so great, and I didn't know shit about nutrition. So my thing was, all right, from this point forward, I'm gonna have 3 of these bars a day.
90
and then-
grams of protein, dude.
Yeah,
You are
like,
so
I'm
on your
good.
macros.
I can do this because I can't drink these terrible shakes, so I'm just gonna have 3 bars a day. I mean, and just totally wrecks your gut. So, but nobody knew back then that bars weren't necessarily part of a get lean program.
What about a Power bar?
Yeah.
That thing only had 12 grams of protein.
Had
Like
12 grams of protein and a bunch of calories.
The best part about it is back then, I mean, like all this stuff was so innovative, it was brand new, everything was popping up. Everybody thought like, hey, why not put jelly here, or we'll make a cinnamon bar that you can microwave. Nobody thought about making a cookie. Like it took like 10 years for somebody to be like,
Trioplex
two
made
cookies.
they had the 2 cookie
The
pack.
2.
Yeah.
It
And
was
the
like the
first
grandma
bite-
cookies at the gas station.
First
I was
bite
like,
was so
shit.
good,
I
and the
know.
last bite was inedible.
Oh
Yes.
yeah, you had to save the last cookie. You were
Yeah.
like,
Oh,
Those macadamia nut ones were pretty damn good, though.
Dude, those cookies were.
Yeah, but you're right. By the end of it, you
The
couldn't
sugar alcohol's
Yeah, it was
too
rough.
much for you.
Have you run into the toilet?
No way.
That's what we should have done. We should have called Jay about that.
All right, what's next on our trip down memory
What's
lane?
next down our trip on memory lane? I don't know. I was basing off everything from the past. You know what I mean? Everything that was to come and change.
All
for
right, Abe,
now.
I got a question for you.
Go ahead.
Let's talk about Abe here.
Oh man, me. Everybody always hears about me.
Let's hear about it. So Abe, you're a good bench press kid.
Okay.
How old were you when you benched 315 for the first time?
315 for the first time.
Sophomore in high school, I'm going to guess, because you're just that kind of kid.
Yeah, actually, yeah, I was.
Phew, that's crazy.
I actually
strong.
was. Yeah.
Now, when you were not here and in your depressed Abe phase of life, like
Yes.
last month, people are going to want to know the 405 and 5-plate bench press videos.
Those famous videos, yes.
How much of that 5 plates did you get on the bench?
Well, I mean, my girlfriend at the time was what, $110? I mean,
Right.
I don't think
What-
she's.
How much could she do an upright row on her max? 70 pounds?
You know, I actually had her there spotting because at my gym. Well, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
What's it? Well, I mean,
Because it was it was 5 plates.
it was it was 535 or 525. One
So
or the
that's
other.
5 plates and a 10 or something like that.
10 and a 5.
Okay, so that's that's 525.
525. So it was 525 that I got up, and the most I got up with her spotting me was 2. And the reason why I always had her spot me was 1, my shoulder was always bummed out.
2, it's fucking
2,
500 pounds.
Yeah.
It's 500 pounds, and it's funny. A lot of guys at the gym are like, "Hey, you want me to do that?" And I'm like, "No, bro, you're terrible." I'm like,
Right, I'd rather have someone I trust.
"Yeah, I trust her, and if I'm gonna let anybody down, it's gonna be me, not her." I'm
And
like,
plus, when she spots me, there's not a pair of balls dangling my face.
yeah. Which I don't take anything away from her. She was really strong, and
She had
she
great
could hold
balls.
her own. So
Yeah.
yeah. But she knew how to spot. She was certified trainer, so she knew the deal. Actually, I was with Davi the first time I did it by myself, the 5 plates, which was what, $495.
Yep.
And that's when my first shoulder incident happened. And I probably blame it on Davi's height because at this point it's a shoulder press for him. And
he ask
he
if
just
you
told me, "Sure, man, you got it."
I got it.
Did he ask you if you have shoulders during the middle of it?
Yeah.
Yeah, he saw me struggling, and I'm like, dude, at this point, I think this is when you got to step in because,
Yeah.
like, my life is on the line, and I really need
And
to
there
get
was
this
no,
up.
I mean, his arms aren't long enough to pull it up.
No, they
so,
weren't.
yeah,
They
he
weren't
can't-
at all.
he
I'm
can't
Hey,
like-
Davier's a
rack.
good little bench presser too. He's got a strong
yeah,
bench.
he's pretty good,
Yeah.
but I think he added weight to it as well too. So I'm gonna round it back to the
'Cause he was leaning on it?
Yeah, because I was pressing him up instead of him pulling the bar up. But no, the first time I did actually get the 5 plates up by myself, and then after that I said, you know what, I'm just gonna record it, and from here on out I'm just gonna use the spotter because I just didn't
Yeah,
want to
either
get
way,
jacked
dude,
up.
you did 2 reps
Did,
with 525 with a little bit of a spot, and that's still an
Yeah.
incredible lift.
Did Lars and Etienne have any lifting advice for you during that one?
Zero
Zero?
advice, and I actually tried at that time. I was trying to get a lift in with Simeon Panda, and he didn't want none.
He didn't want-
He didn't
Is he?
want none.
I've never
didn't
met
want
him.
it.
Is he small in person? I heard he's
No.
smaller than you think.
No,
Oh,
he's
no?
not. That dude is big, and like when he takes his shirt off, he gets bigger.
Yeah,
and
he's
you're
got
like,
a crazy physique. Yeah.
Yeah.
Does he work with any brand now?
No, actually, he's free agent.
Oh, there you go. Free plug. I want 10%.
Yeah.
From
and-
your boy Ulysses, I want the other 10.
yeah. Ulysses is with somebody. I know that.
He's with a limp, I think, right?
Yeah, but
That brand does not translate well into English, into American.
no. It's
The name doesn't
You
really
want to take
work.
a product called Olymp?
It's a great test boost.
Simeon though. Simeon's cool as hell, people. Real nice guy.
Where's that
I
kid
mean,
from? He's from the UK?
From the UK, and he was I want to believe like a banker or something like that. And one day he was like walking home and he took his jacket off, and some guy's like, "Hey, you have an awesome physique. Let me shoot you." And he was like, "Okay." Where here you would be like, "Yeah, get away from me, freak." Call the
911.
cop, blow
Right.
your-
Stranger
blow-
danger.
blow your rape whistle or something and run down the block. Then he was like, "All right, cool." He went out and he
So here's
did
part of the funny thing about you, Abe, for people that like are getting into your podcast now. So you have the whole history of just being this like regular dude from Hialeah or Miami
Hey,
Lakes.
come on, man, Miami Lakes.
Miami
Lakes.
Lakes. Like, like regular kid, went to public school, had the older brother, played a bunch of sports, bummed around with the most bummiest people, whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Right, cool, normal guy story. But then in your grown-up life experience, you have, we were talking at lunch.
Yeah.
How many countries do you, like I was thinking, we were Pollo Tropical,
Dude.
and you're just telling some story about when you were in UAE with Jay Cutler.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking like, this poor guy behind us who's got on like the rubber boots and the Con Ed helmet.
Right.
Like he's got to listen to this asshole talk about
Yeah.
like his complaints about traveling into 5 Middle Eastern countries.
Right.
Abe's complaint was that when he was in Dubai, he got a personal escort through the airport and didn't have to go through customs because of who he was with. So his passport didn't get stamped. Right. What do you think that guy at the restaurant was thinking?
thinks-
Like talk about like, white person problems, only you're not even a white guy. Like,
Yeah. That
I
guy,
wanted to be official. I wanted my stamp.
that guy thought that we were such assholes, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But I think about that all the time, and people that work in this industry, especially the sales guys that get to, travel around and with successful companies and in over 100 countries or whatever. And there's probably not many other jobs or careers that we could have taken that would have sent us all over the world
not
to see
at all.
yeah, when I
everything.
was an alarm guy, I got to go to every county in New Jersey.
Hey, Chris once,
Essex, Passaic, Morris, Sussex.
Chris told me once he was in Argentina because of that. So.
That's true. That was my other job. Yeah.
Yeah, but no, I look back and look. My dad has never been on an airplane, right? So I mean, that's strange. So he thinks it's just like ridiculous that I'll fly to China, and I'm talking about flying to Dubai.
All right. So this bummy kid from Miami Lakes that used to eat mangoes off the tree.
Avocados. I planted that tree.
How many countries do you think you've been to? 20?
Dude, yeah, at least minimum. You remember that one time I would leave here for a month straight and the tour was like Germany, Dubai, Australia, Brazil. And I would travel all over that country. Like we went, coast to coast in Australia. Same thing in Brazil. It was like every day you were catching a flight and doing 2 visits everywhere you went.
And I'm just picking on you now, so far.
Oh.
Where were you living when you did that?
I was in Miami Lakes.
But with who?
It was me and my brother.
And so like,
It was me and my brother.
so you go for a month and you're in all these fancy places, having dinners with everybody.
Yeah, like eating in the tallest building
Right.
in Dubai.
Then you get back,
yeah.
and it's back to like, twin bed, pull-out couch, right?
I had my own room. I had the master bedroom in that house.
Go to the fridge. There's like just some old lo mein in there and nothing else, right?
No, actually, my brother was actually he made decent money too. So
Okay.
and he always held it down. So the only bummy part was that guy would never cook. So I'd come back and be like, oh man, I gotta cook for this guy again. So we would always cook, and I mean it was cool, man. I know a ton of people would hate on me all the time, but I think my whole goal, like Whitney said, when he started off, like not many people got to do things. Like I got into lifting because my brother went to the military,
Yeah.
and I was like, I'm gonna kick this guy's ass when he gets back. Didn't work out the way I thought. And then I saw him travel to all these places and like Okinawa, and I was like, I'm gonna outdo this guy. I almost did like every state in the United States, and then after that, I was like, you know what, the image has to get bigger.
What's
And
your
then-
guys' favorite place?
Oh, dude, I'm not even gonna lie. They love Abe in Germany.
They
They love Abe in Germany.
We seriously, when we hired Abe, we, no joke, had to send more product to Germany.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's true. That is
for
true.
some reason, they love me out there. I don't know why, and I love Germany too.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Should
Favorite
we add
place?
FIBO back into the budget for 2020?
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
gonna have to go to FIBO 2020.
Germany's there. I mean, dude, honestly, I love Australia too. I mean, that's because of our distributors down there. Shane, Yusuf, DJ. These guys are awesome.
They said they're much happier with Bo than they've ever been with BPI. Do you take that personally?
No, not really, because I train Bo. So yeah. So,
And that wasn't your accounts directly anyway. I mean, you
No,
worked with
at
them,
all.
but
Yeah,
that was.
I would just
old
go there
days.
and party.
Yeah, you
I
were the
mean, I was
party guy,
already
yeah.
across.
Right.
I was across the.
I heard they asked for us to send DT back next time after your
No,
last
there's
trip.
there's no way. And Shane saw. Oh, you know what? Shane saw me bench 5 plates over there.
He did?
In Australia.
Yeah, but their plates are in kilos, man. It's not the same.
It weighs more. They're heavier.
This is like 600 pounds.
Kilos
Yeah.
are one of the biggest scams ever pulled on the American populate. Believe me.
I wish I could impress you and tell you when I went to Kuwait, I did the same weight that what's his name used to do.
Who's that?
Who's our boy?
Who?
Asa?
No, the wrestler. damn, I can't believe
Who?
the Iron Sheik.
Oh, the Iron Sheik.
What's the
Yeah,
things that he
with
does?
the heavy things.
Yeah, they're like-
whatever
they look
those
like
things
bowling
are.
pins.
Yeah, those heavy bowling pins.
Next time I go there, I'm gonna film me doing that. You get the kilo count on it. Me and Big Rammy.
All right,
no.
so that's
You
an
lift
interesting part of your
triangular
life.
weights.
Yeah, no, it was awesome. You know, but going back to something Whitney actually said, and I was like, damn, you know what? I gotta go one day to Virginia or like crash one of Whitney's parties. Not only for like his grandparents to like freak out to see like a brown guy that's both Spanish and Arab. Like they were like, where's this guy from?
Who
He's
is this
space?
guy?
Like, what's wrong with this guy? Why is he speaking two different languages at the same time? But no, I want to go there because I remember one time on New Year's when Whitney gave that guy the rock bottom, and Whitney's dad on our Facebook page goes, "You got into a fight?" I was like, "Oh, this is just the best. I need to go over there to meet this guy." I just had to.
Oh, I forgot that my dad commented on
Oh,
that.
dude, it was the best.
Oh,
I was
my
like,
God.
I was waiting after you told me.
I think my dad.
conversation.
You know when you have like what does it say on Facebook? It's like top fans or whatever on
Yeah.
Facebook, something like that. My dad is like top fans, BPI, Jay Cutler. Like he's like always looking there. You know.
That is funny. Now, you know, to Dennis's credit, and maybe Mike's a little bit, I don't know, probably more Dennis than anybody. Well, even before Dennis, some of the other really brilliant social media people that have come here. So many people do follow BPI social media. It's such a trip. Like, I know when I go to my next, like, suburban, you know, Coral Springs, they're going to be like, hey, Abe's back.
Oh yeah.
Like,
Oh yeah.
motherfucker, what do you know about Abe?
Actually, Justin, shout out to Justin. He's always a good
Justin
fan.
Smith.
Yeah,
That's our
he
boy.
actually hit me up on Facebook and he was like, "Bring back What's Up, Abe."
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
It's so funny.
definitely.
I'm like, dude, you know how old that is? It's like 8 years.
Too long.
8 years.
A little bit about the trainer too.
Oh whoa.
Hold on, before you talk about the trainer though, let's talk about another.
You hired a
Abe-
personal trainer?
Let's talk about two things. Abe, that maybe people don't know, but Abe has two of the most viral posts on social media ever.
Oh yeah.
Well, one was one of the first viral posts.
I'll give it
One
one.
was the first.
Before
yeah.
the hashtag, before any tags.
there was no tags.
There's no tags. There's no
It
tags.
was just a picture.
Yeah. I mean, it was the bench press. It
Mm-hmm.
was the bench and bone. I got called by our boss on like Saturday. This was before Dennis. So I will take some credit on the social media side. I had a Metro PCS phone that has no international reception.
7 pixels
Yes.
on the camera.
It still had Snake on the screen, and it was like a digital screen. But no, so I had a Metro PCS phone. It was crappy as hell, and my boss calls me and says, "There's not a post up for the weekend." And I'm like, you know, what the heck? You know, I got a hot girlfriend. It's time to put her to use. I'm like, hey, listen, I need you to do something for me. I'm like, I'm gonna get on this bench. It's gonna be inclined, and you're gonna sit there like you're riding me, and I'm gonna take a picture, and it's gonna be about facing distractions in the gym. I don't even know if that's true or not. I just trying to show everybody how cool I was in the gym. But I did that picture, and the best thing was, and this goes to prove about the guys in Australia. We went there, sat in a meeting, and it was like the movie Along Came Polly. At the end of the meeting, those guys said nothing about the order or about buying product. They went, "Hey, you're in that bench picture,
They knew
aren't
that
you?"
picture,
And I'm
yeah.
like, "You bet your ass I am." And then that's when our business started.
That's
Why
awesome.
didn't we like have that picture handy? When
I
it
know.
came in?
I don't know why we don't have
Retarded.
that.
What was your other big viral video?
The other viral video was
the bench press.
was the bench
Thug
press,
Life?
the Thug Life bench
Yeah,
press
that's a good
video
one.
that went to World Star.
What was the song though? There was a song you did it with, right? Wasn't the song?
Yeah, we did.
No, it's
Dennis.
the Thug Life video.
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
the theme.
Dennis, the Thug Life
right?
video.
Yeah.
We did the Ice Cube song.
It would just
Yeah.
zoom in and then say Thug Life. Yeah.
yeah, it's the Ice.
Ding dong.
Yeah, yeah.
Something like that, yeah. But yeah, those are the first two that jumped up on
Keep
there.
your head ringing. Keep the
Yeah,
head
yeah.
ringing. Yeah, that was it. Yeah.
I'm telling you, if I would have had a hashtag or something at that time, I'd have had
Yeah, that
10,000
had.
followers
Yeah, that thing
instead
had
of 2.
that
So-
had millions of views.
Listen, speaking of social media, and we're joking because Dennis is in here and he runs our social media. Like when we first started, we started our Facebook page here, and we actually
Chris and
called it.
Abe page.
Well, we also called it the One More Rep page because
Yeah.
people only knew the pre-workout. And then we had our own page because you had to admin it. You couldn't
Yeah.
just have a commercial page. It had to be linked to your personal page.
Yeah.
So we had the Chris and Abe page, which I bet if we could ever find that login, people are still.
Dude, I know the
Shipping away
login was something like Roxy One.
Yeah, all the old
something.
products.
Yeah, and then it was like 1MR was in the middle.
Actually, I know it. I don't want to say it out loud because you could probably log into
Yeah,
it. 'cause
don't say
it
it, don't
but
say
it's actually that's my my
Gun-
iTunes password.
we're probably
still.
missing all of Gunther's
To
questions
this
on
day.
there.
Yeah. So, but I remember we had that Facebook page, and no one knew how to like run social media at the time. It's not like it was now, where you have strategies and someone, people are prepared to accept hate on
Yeah.
this. So we had a post up. I don't remember what it was. So stupid. We had like 3,000 followers anyway. So who even gives a
Yeah.
shit, right? Someone put on the post, "I like muscle marinade better," which was another hardcore pre-workout at the
yeah.
time.
Yeah.
And it was like a Saturday, and I was in Fort Lauderdale Beach with my wife, and the bosses see it, and they're like, "You got to get that shit off the page now."
Gotta take it off.
Dude, and it was so old that I had a Motorola, not
my
a real
God.
iPhone.
Yeah, yeah.
I
Wow.
so we were at a restaurant. I asked the people, "Can I borrow your computer?"
Wow.
That they were like ringing the credit cards on, and I had to go in and like be like, "No, muscle marinade's not as good as us."
Dude, the thing.
I mean, once you realize social media is garbage and you just hire garbage people to run it, it all makes
Yeah.
so much more sense,
What's up, Dennis?
Turn that camera around,
Dennis
Dennis.
is the man. I actually met Dennis via email when he joined, and I was like, "Thank God."
Somebody's
Thank
here
God.
to run the social media.
Yeah, I was like, "Oh, Dennis, I look forward so much to working with you." I'm like,
Hey, if anybody happens to be watching, you can check my story right. Oh, I caught him picking his nose too.
don't post that. You can't.
Look,
You can't post that one.
Let's see. Oh, it was a point, not a pick.
oh man.
Dennis does not want to see them.
Swallow you.
My favorite. Hold on, but my favorite
right.
scene. My favorite scene of the day was walking to the gym and watching Dennis film you with his shirt off. Dennis's shirt's off, and you're working out.
Everybody thinks that they understand the struggle. Just imagine that guy in your gym takes his shirt off and films you every day, and he's screaming and barking at you, and you just got to perform.
Yeah, Dennis got super grouchy when you got hired.
Yeah, I don't.
Kid takes his shit serious, man.
You got like two, Middle Eastern guys in the room. It just happens. Like, we're just talking, and it sounds like a lot of screaming.
I always forget.
But
you
we're
know,
like
you forget
so
that Dennis
happy.
is Turkish. Yeah.
Yeah, we're so
Turkish.
happy. We're just like yelling
Dennis
at
the
each
Turk.
other. We're like yelling at each other, and then you just see them stand up and they stare each other down. It's like a hug.
Hey, what's with the Z, Dennis?
Turkish.
That's a Turkish spin on
If
it.
you go on Facebook right now, there's more good-looking women than dudes with that name. That's a fact. Fun fact.
So Dennis
That's
is
an
a
odd
woman's
fact.
name.
Universal name. It's,
I don't know.
woman's name.
Like Whitney.
Yeah, well,
So
I'm
that's really
just
a girl's
the only
name?
guy with that name, but yeah. Oh no, there's one stud, another stud named Whitney. Whitney Merciless plays for Houston Texans. He's a beast.
True.
We just gotta find all the studs named Whitney and Dennis, and just bring.
That's right.
Like Julian.
Well, Dennis, it would be Denise, right?
That'd be Denise also.
Yeah.
That's not bad.
What else? You want to say anything like promotional?
Do we have anything running?
I don't know. What do you want to talk about,
No,
man?
no, we're not running anything.
All right, let me ask you this one.
I got other videos jumping up for.
Okay, I got a slightly pluggish thing for you. So you left BPI like maybe 2 years ago. You came back now.
Yeah.
I know you had some other jobs in the industry along the way. So when you came back, so from the time you left to the time you came back, there were a lot of new items.
Yeah.
What were some of the new BPI products that you were like super psyched to get your hands on
Well-
upon returning to the company? Like, oh, let me try this, let me try that.
Well, I never needed to.
Because as an employee, you get half a product a month if you work here.
Well, I never needed to do that because obviously I left my two apprentices here, Davi and Manny.
Yeah,
But
you
like,
train both
yeah.
those guys.
So what's the new shit that you're excited about?
Well, no, actually, I've been up to date on everything. So Davi would always bring me stuff after he'd come back from his trip. I'd give Manny shit because I'm like, dude, you don't even pass by here anymore. But I couldn't really give Manny too much crap because when I was like dead broke, he was paying the gym for me. So I was like, I better just shut up or cut my Netflix off, change the password. But no, product that I really loved was SmartBurn. Like I took SmartBurn, I was like, damn, dude, I actually really, really like this product. Like, I just like the transition from a pill to a powder-based fat burner, and I thought that was awesome. Like, we finally got it, and it was like perfect.
Yeah, I gotta
Because we
say,
had Stim. What did we have?
Stim Elite is a powder way
Stim
back in the
Elite
day.
that was in powder, but I mean,
But
the
the real
ingredients-
launch for Stim Elite, just to let like a little peek behind the supplement curtain,
Yeah.
was that we wanted a powder to send to Australia because they can't import pills.
Yeah, they couldn't. Import.
So that was one of the main reasons why we were eager to make a powdered fat burner back in those days.
Oh yeah.
I will say this, we're pretty hyped up about this unicorn flavor here. It's a little trendy and it is good, but that snow cone flavored Smart Burn is nuts. That's the
Yeah.
best flavor.
I haven't tried.
It is good.
So,
And I'd like
That's
to
my
do-
advice. If you're ordering the 3 for $60,
Yeah,
get
the-
three
the
snow
unicorn.
cones.
Yeah.
So, hey-
oh, and it's not just 3 for $60.
You're
You
welcome,
do 2
Nick.
for $45 as well.
2 for
and a waist
45.
trainer.
That's a great deal.
Yeah.
And a waist trainer.
It's a great deal.
I want to make another plug while we're here with Dennis. Dennis, do you mind filming this really quick?
Film it, Dennis.
Standalone.
We want to give. Are we filming now? We're
Oh,
live. Okay, perfect. We want to give a shout out to our exclusive distributor in Libya, El Gargani Nutrition. We want to thank you for everything that you do for us. We
And
met-
congratulate them.
Yep, and Chris and I just met with Kamal, and congratulations on winning the 212 at the Olympia this past year. We're looking forward to working with you coming up in the next year.
Yeah, and how awesome is it to have a friend, a business partner, and an athlete,
An athlete, yeah.
that's a 212 Olympia champion,
Right.
all within the
Yeah, that
BPI
you don't,
family.
You don't run into
such
many
a great
guys.
dude.
Yeah,
Who's a
you
nice
don't-
guy to top
yeah,
it
you
all
don't
off.
run into many guys like that. He's a great person. He's got a great company. We're really proud to sponsor him and be associated with him, and we thank those guys for all their business throughout the years.
Another cool thing about him personally, and you had your story with your old boy Curtis, like he's competed, he's worked so hard. I mean, if you consider bodybuilding hard work,
But it is.
but it is. I'm only joking to everybody that competes, but like he's been in so many shows
It's
all
insane.
over the world.
Yeah.
For 20 years. Like talk about like a journeyman as they call it in like sports, or like fighting to get a win here or a pro card. I mean, because internationally pro cards don't come like they come here,
Right.
where everybody with great hair and abs gets a pro card.
Right.
So this poor guy's traveled the world, trained at least 25 years, because we were talking to him about shows in the late 90s,
Yeah.
right?
Well, think about
And
this.
ultimately wins the fucking Mr. Olympia.
Mr. Olympia.
I mean,
yes.
it's an amazing story.
I guess he was in Qatar for a while. He was in Qatar for a while, and I guess sponsored. I don't know how that works internationally, but sponsored by someone there, by the government. I don't. Does that work? The
I guess depends
or
what country,
Whatever
yeah.
it is, but when I met him, and I thought about this the other day. This is a really strange story. So back in the mid 2000s, my roommate was competing to turn pro. His name was Curtis Bryant. He's a phenomenal bodybuilder, and he had just done the nationals as a heavyweight. I think he was a top 5 or whatever, but he was still in great shape, and he wanted to get his name out there. So he decided to do the Excalibur, which is in L.A.
Used to be a real big deal.
It was a big deal back then. To put it in compare what was going on at the time, the year before, Trey Brewer won the Excalibur, and that kind of launched his career, right? So we said, let's fly out to L.A. 2 weeks, I think, after the Nationals. You're in great shape. Let's do the Excalibur and see if that can kind of catapult you into next year trying to go for your pro card, which it did, and he won the USAs the next year with our current Mr. Olympia, Brandon Curry. They were the two winners back when they only gave 2 pro cards out at the USAs. It was Curtis and Brandon. But that year when we went to the Excalibur, there was one other guy competing, and he was a light heavyweight. And the guy that won the light heavies and Curtis, it was definitely between those two. And I remember seeing the light heavyweight and going, damn, I don't know if Curtis can beat this guy. Like, Curtis was a lot bigger.
What year, real quick, one more time?
This was 2007, I believe. I think it was, it must
Over
have
a
been-
decade ago.
Yeah, so it must have been 2007. And I saw this guy, and like Curtis was a lot bigger. He was a freak. He was a really big dude. But this light heavyweight was peeled, and I always thought back, who was that guy? Where did that guy go?
How could he be that good and you lost track
It's
of
like
him?
I never saw him again, and it dawned on me right after we got back in touch with Kamal for the sponsorship here. I said, that's who it was. And I texted him. I said, hey, did you do the Excalibur in 2007 or whatever year it was? He said, yeah, I won the light heavies. I was like, yeah, my boy Curtis was the super heavyweight that you went against in the overall.
Thanks
But
a lot.
yeah,
Thanks
Yeah.
a lot, Kamal. You destroyed my boy's dreams.
Yeah.
No, my boy won.
Oh, he ended up winning?
My boy won the overall,
cool.
but like that's weird to have that, connect again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's a cool story, and he's such a nice guy, and everything.
Yeah.
We're
Nice-
going to wrap it up, I guess.
Nice when those stories come to a good ending.
I guess we're going to wrap it up today.
Yeah, it was fun.
So we can get back to work. I mean, they're pushing the button on us. But my take for today is pretty much if I got to compete with Kamal, I'm already your guy's friend. I'm already a coworker. I'm already an Arab dude. I got to win in Olympia. So
You're
let's
close.
see,
Next.
let's see after this trainer who my next trainer is going to be.
That's right. Training for the Olympia.
No, it's gonna be
2021.
called To Beat Kamal. So it's going to be
You're going down.
going,
Abraham versus Kamal.
just gonna crumble his
Sounds very biblical.
It does.
Oh God!
All right.
Well, that's a wrap on the scoop today. Pleasure, always.
Yeah,
with
man.
you
Thanks
guys.
for having
We
us on,
just-
man.
we
This
just
was
had
fun.
lunch today, so it was actually it was kind of like the same discussion, but that's how cool we are.
That is.
But thanks for tuning in, guys. Obviously, always a pleasure. We'll catch y'all later. Check us out again: iTunes, Spotify, Intune, YouTube.
I've never even heard of Intune, but Intune.
You gotta have an Alexa for that.
Oh, I
Oh,
do. Oh,
yeah.
okay.
One
That's the
more
only
time.
We're not
Shout
going
out-
to listen to that.
Shout out to all the people with Alexa.
Later.